Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the CD Racoola Show. For today's show, I hope you will be my most valued guest of honor, because today, old CD will be reviewing for your pleasure, of course, The Invitation. This film features plenty of mystery and kind of what the heck is going on here. But at the end, you get it and are like, aha! This review may contain a couple of spoilers, so if you're scared, go make yourself scarce and go watch the film, and then come back and watch Old CD's review. Duh! The Invitation starts out as a young lady does a DNA test, then is asked to meet her estranged cousin, and gets an invite to a wedding ceremony in a mansion in England. And by mansion, I mean more like a castle. Although she is put in a strange setting, she's intrigued by the opulence of the manor, and she soon becomes the romantic target of the lord of the manor named Walter de Ville. I wonder if he's related to Cruella de Vil. I don't know. Okay, she later finds out that there is more than meets the eye when it comes to the castle's inhabitants. And most certainly this Lord of the Manor, this Walter character. Because she's being seduced and is to be married against her will to this Lord Walter guy, whom, bring it in here, bring it in close. Here's the spoiler, so if you're scared, you better run. Walter is Dracula! You didn't see that coming with this film, did ya? This film was directed by Jessica M. Thompson, who is still relatively new to the horror genre, though I think she did a relatively good job with this film, and I do hope to see more of her work in the future. You know, minus the first scene in this film when you see the lady's head removed from her body, I think the movie moved a little slow for my taste. But it was good, and it's worth a second watch when you get the big reveal that Walter's Dracula, and you figure that out, and then you want to watch it again. The cast was pretty good in this film, with Natalie Emmanuel playing the damsel in distress turned hero, Evie. Natalie Emmanuel has been in tons of great stuff recently, hasn't she? Here's a few of my hits. Game of Thrones, a couple of movies from the Fast and Furious franchise. How many movies are there in the Fast and Furious franchise by now? I don't know if I can even count that high. There's so many of them, and frankly, I don't want to count that high. You lovers of Vin Diesel or whatever, I'm sorry, I just can't. I just can't. She's also in the Maze Runner films, Army of the Dead, and Army of Thieves. Great actress, and I hope that she decides to do more horror film in the future, because she was definitely a bright spot in this film. Oh, by the way, I mentioned Army of the Dead, if you heard that. Be sure to check out my review of Army of the Dead. That was actually the first ever episode of the CD Racoola Show. Oh, back in the day. So I will always hold a soft spot in my black little heart for that film. Thomas Doty is also in this film, and starred as Walter de Ville, aka Dracula. And if there was ever a perfect choice for Dracula, then holy macaroni and blood sandwiches, Thomas Doty is it. I mean, just look at this guy. He just looks like you would imagine Dracula to look. He really does. Scary looking eyes and a little too clean cut. kind of a pretty boy remind you of anyone? Cough, cough. You are supposed to say me. Well, can we at least agree out there that we both have the same model cheekbones? Okay, whatever with you guys. On with Thomas. He was actually in a television show, Dracula, back in 2013 that was cancelled after only one season. So I guess it was fate that he and Dracula would meet once again on the big screen this time. Speaking of great actors to play Dracula, I've heard that Nicolas Cage is going to play Dracula in the upcoming Renfield film. Oh goody, he will be an awesome Dracula. Feel free to comment on down below on whom you think would make an excellent Dracula. Me personally, and you may laugh at this, but I think he could be good. I think Steve Buscemi would make one heck of a Dracula. He's just strange enough to do it. Might be kind of weird, don't you think? Weird in a good way, that is. I did like this film, though, as I mentioned before. It did move a little slow for me. My favorite part of the film... parts of the film, I should say, was the little Bram Stoker's Dracula Easter eggs scattered in plain sight throughout. And why I mentioned before that it would be worth a second watch so you could find those Easter eggs. I mean, I figured that this film had something to do with vampires from watching the trailers, but I didn't realize till later how truly Bram Stoker's Dracula-centric this film was. Notice that the butler is named Mr. Fields, like Renfield, you know. Also, the three wives it talks about in the film, about how Dracula is the strongest with three wives, which it seems like, you know, he always did have three wives. Even in the movie Van Helsing, the one with Hugh Jackman, Dracula had three wives. So that is where the Evie and the wedding stuff comes into play. Carfax Abbey is also, if you remember, where Dracula lived as well. The Harkers, who are old in this film and are apparently now the mortal partners of Dracula. I may have missed some of the Easter eggs, and most certainly did. But feel free to comment down below on a little Bram Stoker Easter egg or two I missed in this film. There's something that OCD forgot to mention with his rotted brain. The ending was especially good, and I won't spoil that for you at least. But it does possibly open up things for an invitation too. I think movies should always give the audience a little something at the end, you know, so that if later, if the want is there, then they can do a sequel later. We will see what time will tell, but my final take on this film is that I think my love for all things Bram Stoker's Dracula may have blinded me into liking this film and looking the other way at some of its downfalls, because frankly, I mean, let's be honest, we can't lie to ourselves. It really wasn't that scary, and the vampires didn't have a really fearsome look by any stretch of the imagination. It's still a good watch though, and being a vampire myself, you know I'm always going to be a bit biased, but whatever. As I've said many times, I do what I want, and for now what I want to do is thank you for accepting this invitation to the CD Racoola show, and I'm now sending you a formal verbal invite to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, so maybe, like, I could afford some wives. Heck, Dracula has three. He's got three wives. Old CD can't even afford a new pair of loafers. daughters, let alone a couple of wives. My home is pretty bachelor pad-ish, so whatever. Please join me next episode when I review another great horror film. Pumpkinhead! It's almost Halloween and my birthday, so start getting excited. And I think Pumpkinhead is a good film, so start getting you guys into the Halloween mood. Till next time, if you get an invite to a wedding, make sure that the people who invited you aren't blood-sucking maniacs. Before you RSVP. Even if they are blood-sucking maniacs, they better have some nachos at the reception. I know how you humans love your precious little nachos. Maybe nachos would appeal to OCD more if they had a little blood mixed in with the cheese, you know. I don't know, maybe I'll experiment with that tonight. Maybe with you. Alright, bye-bye, bye-bye.